I don't know how to explain it to you, but these buildings are like, when I see an American town, this is what I see.
Front there,
This is what I love. This is what I love.
including
Oh, you have the
Tower.
trains there. You have the trains there. That's so cool. And my number one most beautiful downtown is... What's the most beautiful big city downtown? Oh, I dropped the pen. What's the most beautiful big city downtown in the US? Welcome to today's video. Let's find out together. So we're finally getting into like what the US looks like. So that will be fun. We got the best big city downtowns. This will be interesting and I want you guys to play along. What is your most beautiful big city downtowns in the US? And where is the closest big city to where you're from? I'm also going to provide my own top 3. Remember, this is my own top 3 in this video as well. So let's get into the video. Original video in the link below. I will give my top 3 as well, remember that.
Howdy, it's Kyle, counting down the 10 best big city downtowns in the US.
Howdy,
Previously,
Kyle.
I posted a video about the 10 worst big city downtowns, but
Oh, worst big city downtowns. We need to watch that.
I didn't want to be all negative Nancy, so I want to post the best big city downtowns in the country. The characteristics that put the cities into the worst downtown videos you're not going to see in this one, so the things that made those ones bad were lack of walkability, just emptiness, just things not as vibrant, just the neighborhoods not being as interesting. So the things will be the opposite in this one. The downtowns are much more walkable, much more livable, much more interesting type neighborhoods, and just more urbanist.
Fun. Will we see? Detroit is here. Sarah, you were right. Detroit is here. I mean, she said people had a bad rep about Detroit, but to me, it looks beautiful.
Starting off at number 10 right away with a
that's what I
hot
think.
take, it's Detroit. Throughout the decade, you've undoubtedly heard many negative things about Detroit, but it was never...
Okay, I'm noting down Detroit, number 10. So he also is saying that this is a hot take. A hot take to have... Wow! Oh, wow! This looks beautiful. Is that maybe a football stadium?
the downtown that was the part of the city that was really downtrodden that gave it that reputation.
Uh-huh.
It's always been pretty nice, fairly walkable, and the center of attention for the overall Detroit metro area. A big part of that are the sports teams. The NHL Red Wings are the most popular team in the city.
Yes.
And the Tigers, the baseball team, the Lions, the football team have all been downtown for a long time.
Wow, come on, this is beautiful. Why are people saying this is not beautiful?
The past handful of years, the NBA Pistons have also moved downtown. So now you have all the sports teams right downtown. So
I
basically
love
every night
this.
of the year, there's a major event in the CBD that brings
And
in at least 15,000 people.
Wow, everything is downtown as well. So this is also another video where I can't really interrupt him while he's talking, so I have to pause the video. Sorry about that. But Detroit looks beautiful. One funny story is that we have a guy from Malmö, my hometown, who's actually playing for the NBA team in Detroit. So that's also one thing I know of the city.
I believe it's the only city in the country where all 4 of the major pro sports teams play within about a half mile of each other.
Am I recording?
Vibrant, a lot of great restaurants and sports bars and things. There's a neighborhood called Greektown that isn't the most interesting party type street, but
Greektown, do you have a lot of Greeks there? We have a lot of Greeks in my
there are
hometown.
some really good restaurants and sports bars there. And you also have some of the neighborhoods just outside of downtown
I like
that
this.
have been gentrified.
Very
and that's
cozy.
helped the CBD as well. So Corktown and Mexican Town to the southwest, and then the Cass Corridor in Midtown to the north. So it's nice once you leave downtown as well. So it's not just the CBD. There's a huge new project going on downtown called the Hudson Project, and it's going to be I think the biggest high-rise in the city, and it's just a big overall urban type project. It's on the process of, so it'll be really interesting to see, you know, the final project of this, how it turns out, and just how it affects the downtown. I think it'll be a pretty
all right, so I will speak like at the end of all of these clips, I think.
positive thing. So the overall city of Detroit has seen some improvements. There's a long way to go, but the downtown is still pretty good.
Detroit. Okay, number 10, Detroit. What do you think? Do you agree with that? I like Detroit. I think it looks absolutely beautiful, especially these buildings. You know, this is very, for me, this is very American to see these sort of like apartment buildings. And I mean, it looks beautiful with the sports, and like they said, every arena is in downtown. Looks amazing.
Going one state over to the west at number 9, it's Milwaukee.
This is a town I've never heard of.
Earlier this year, I spent a day just walking around downtown Milwaukee, and was actually quite impressed with how walkable it is and just how large the downtown is from
Looks
the west
very
end to the
nice.
east end. The East
Very
Town
nice.
is where you have the high rises. You have a nice
Oh, look, it's a coastal town. Is this like in the southern area? Is maybe close to Texas?
river walk going through that part of town. The West Town has more of your historic type buildings, a lot of your fun bars and restaurants. Some of your nightlife is over there.
This is
The
nice.
historic Third Ward is the neighborhood directly to the south of the CBD in the East Town, and this is your more recently gentrified neighborhood. So a lot of artist lofts and type things that replaced old warehouses and other factory type things that were
Nice.
abandoned. But you don't just have the river going through downtown. You also have, of course, Lake Michigan. So there's a nice lakefront park there with some trails and a really cool looking art museum. And certain parts of the lakefront trails, you have beaches.
Whoa, what is this? Okay. So this looks like a smaller town. I'm guessing this is the downtown area. Still looks beautiful.
Although not right in the
Saving
heart
some
of
of
the
my
CBD,
thoughts.
but you do have some nice lakefront beaches right there. So Milwaukee, kind of like Detroit, often gets a bad rap for some of the negative things that were going on in the city back in the good old classic Rust Belt days. And there are still
Rust
plenty of
Belt.
problems going on in Milwaukee, but the downtown is still
What are the Rust Belt days?
pretty nice.
Okay, that was number 9, Milwaukee. What do you think? I mean, it looks beautiful. Love that it's river. Love the beaches there. Where is it located, though? Where is it located? Should we search it up? Yeah, let's do it. Milwaukee. All right, we are here in Milwaukee. Okay. It's close to Chicago, that we know. Oh, so I thought it was like down here somewhere with the beaches. I mean, that is true. You got a freaking river here. I didn't know that. Beautiful river. What's it called in English? Lake. Yeah, lake, of course. Lake. Oh, looks great. Looks awesome. I like it. Number 9, Milwaukee.
Coming in at number 8 is San Diego. You don't have the most interesting looking skyline
nice.
for a city of its size. There's a height
Love the
restriction limit
colors.
because of the airport being right nearby, but you also have a big train yard there.
Oh,
so
this looks
downtown San Diego
nice.
is almost like a major transport hub.
This looks
something you'd want to see
nice.
Maybe a little bit farther out from downtown. The Gas Lamp Quarter is the traditional nightlife district right downtown. It's really good for walking, some great restaurants and bars. On game day for San Diego Padres baseball, it really is a much more vibrant downtown because it's during the summer
A baseball town, maybe.
time. The weather is beautiful out, and people just want to be out, whether or not they're going
This
to
is
the game
nice.
itself.
This is nice.
Another cool neighborhood at the north end of downtown is Little Italy, where
San
you've had a large
Diego.
Italian immigrant population, but now you have a lot of really cool
Ah,
shops and
Little
restaurants.
Italy. I like that name. So you have a lot of Italians there. Okay.
And something else great about
Beautiful.
downtown
Beautiful.
San Diego is the proximity of the huge Balboa Park. And something else to be on the lookout for downtown is the redevelopment of Seaport Village. So they're currently in the planning process for the redevelopment of this park, but this is a big deal. This is prime real estate right there downtown on the water, so they really don't want to mess this one up.
Okay.
And so the Seaport Village is kind of cool, but again, it's right there in prime real estate. There's a huge parking lot there, so things could be better used land-wise than this little shopping village. So downtown San Diego is not the most urbanist type downtown. It's not the most walkable, but with that weather just being so nice, with that ocean breeze coming through there, it's just a great spot to be anywhere in the city walking around, so people can congregate downtown. They can.
I don't want to interrupt him. It's so annoying. Sorry, guys.
Outdoors, get their healthy living, and it's right in the heart of the CBD.
Number 8. Okay, San Diego. Really like that. I mean, I like. I think this should be California. So I'm guessing the weather's nice. I love the, the colorful, and the sun there. Sun is there, of course. So very nice.
At number 7, I'm going to Cincinnati, Ohio.
Cincinnati. Not heard of this one either. This one looks nice. Now we're talking.
This is another city where I recently had a chance to spend a day just walking around town, and I really enjoyed it. It's a great
I like that he has first-hand experience.
Downtown for walking. You have the Ohio riverfront area. There's a nice, recently redeveloped riverfront park there. It's great for walking. There's a pedestrian bridge that goes across the river to Newport, Kentucky. You also have a lot of redevelopment near the baseball stadium. So check out this Google Street View image from 2007.
Ooh.
You can see the baseball stadium there, and there's just kind of an empty parking lot. Now I'm going to go one step over on Street View. It switches to 2024, and this is how it looks now.
Oh, okay, so that was the same.
Projects like this along the riverfront between the football and baseball stadiums, and this part of the city is kind of a magnet right now. With the city being older, the downtown...
Oh, I remember this field. I like this field when I rated all of them. I really like this. What's this over here? Is this football? American football, maybe?
Town is much more compact and better for walking, and I really like some of the old architecture of some of the skyscrapers.
Very
As you can
nice.
see here, there's a street that's been turned into just pedestrian only, some really cool shops and restaurants. And this is post-COVID. It wasn't like this pre-2020.
Very
Cincinnati
nice.
does also have some really interesting neighborhoods just north of downtown, the Over the Rhine neighborhood, and just east the Mount Adams neighborhood. So that's nice to have good neighborhoods surrounding your downtown, even though the Over the Rhine neighborhood used to be really rough. So I
Okay.
do like some of the redevelopment along the riverfront, the closing down of streets for pedestrians only, and just the downtown
I
remaining
like this as well because it looks like the downtown area is super close to like the rest of what do you say? I don't know, suburban, is that right? The suburban area of the city? That it's very close to that. So that looks very nice.
pretty
I like this a
vibrant
lot.
through and post-COVID.
Do you agree? Have you been to since Cincinnati, I think you said.
Overall, I like Cincinnati, and one of
Cincinnati.
the reasons is it's downtown.
Beautiful.
Coming in at number 6 is Nashville.
Nashville.
three major-
Okay, where is this now? Nashville. I do recognize it. Why do I recognize Nashville? Nashville. Okay.
Major aspects of downtown Nashville. The first one that most people think of is Broadway, that street with all the neon lights
Ooh,
lined up and
that's
down
cool.
with honky tonks. I've been visiting Nashville off and on for the past 17
That's
years,
cool.
and I've seen Broadway change quite a bit during
Okay.
that time. We used to go to hockey games when the San Jose Sharks were playing at Nashville, and then after the game, everybody would just spill out straight onto Broadway and just hit those honky tonks, and it was just a big party. It was
That's
mostly
fun.
locals.
That
Of
looks
course,
really
there are going to
fun.
be tourists there as well, but you fast forward to today, and it's just tourists only, and it's really just gotten kind of corporate. There are all kinds of
Corporate.
country star corporate bars. Jason
Oh,
Aldean has
wow. Okay, look at this. I get it that he said it's become corporate. It's always that nostalgia he has probably for this place. It still looks beautiful though. It still looks lively, even though tourists are there to see the things and enjoy them as well, right?
one. Vince Gill, Morgan Wallen, Garth Brooks, even Kid Rock. They all have corporate bars right downtown, and that's really what Broadway has become. But
What is a corporate bar? Do you know what I mean? What is that?
Nashville isn't number 6 on this list because of Broadway, although Broadway is a lot of fun if you're a tourist. So you also have the State House and the government type stuff there, but that
Beautiful.
isn't what makes downtown nice. But the third aspect of what makes downtown Nashville great
Also, a question: are these like business? No, are these skyscrapers? Are they usually like business offices?
and why it's on this list are the other neighborhoods surrounding the Broadway and government districts. One is called the Gulch. This is just south of the CBD. This is a newer gentrified type area. It's got really boutique-y type stuff. It's got some good restaurants, some hipster vibes. And it is a nice urbanist neighborhood with an easy walking distance of Broadway and the river. And speaking of the river itself, it's the Cumberland River, and there's a nice pedestrian bridge that goes over it from the heart of the CBD across to the football stadium for the Titans. Another fun neighborhood that's been recently gentrified just southeast of the CBD is called Pie Town. Got some more local shops, boutique-y kind of stuff. And then just north of the CBD, north of the government district, is another cool neighborhood called Germantown. So yeah, Nashville downtown is great, even though Broadway is...
All right, so he's about to end in Nashville. So this definitely seems like the downtown that has most stuff going on, like the most action, like the most partying and stuff like that. But it also looks like a bigger town than the others we've seen. Maybe I'm wrong, but it looks like it. I really like it.
It's become kind of cheesy, corporate, over the top, but the rest of downtown is really cool.
Huh. All right.
Heading into
Number
the
6.
top 5, I'm going to one of my favorite cities. It's Pittsburgh. When people think about downtown Pittsburgh, often the first thing they think about is just the way the sky
Okay. This is interesting because I said this is my favorite baseball field. Will the town continue to impress me?
line looks. Those beautiful images standing from the higher mountain vantage point, just looking down at the
looks
building
stunning.
as it
It
comes
looks
together at
stunning.
the point where the rivers meet. But one thing that's lesser known is just how good the downtown is from a walking standpoint and from a cool neighborhood standpoint.
Okay.
And just like Cincinnati, Pittsburgh has more of an industrial heritage with its river.
I mean, I like it. Look at these buildings. They're so cool. They're so American to me. I don't know how to explain. I don't know how to explain it to you, but these buildings are like, when I see an American town, this is what I see.
Front there, and it has a densely packed network of streets because it just is an older city designed before the advent of cars. The Strip District is an interesting part of downtown where it's a mix of international shops and public market type things, but also a lot of the local bars and restaurants and a kind of a party spot for people. You also have all those beautiful, iconic bridges that lead from downtown across one of the rivers to other cool parts of town, especially when you cross over to the south
I
side.
mean, these bridges are also beautiful. I like
And one
Pittsburgh
of
a
the
lot.
things I like about Pittsburgh in general, including the downtown, is that when you're walking around, you see all that
Oh,
beautiful scenery. So
wow.
you
Look
see
at
the
that.
green mountains there, whether it be the ones with houses on it or the ones where it's just parks and stuff. So it's just beautiful
He
scenery to
and
have
I
while you're in the
Millen.
middle of a big city. And I've always liked how the mountainous nature has kind of forced Pittsburgh to develop the way that Mother Nature wanted it to. And
Huh.
I think it ended up being a pretty cool development because
I mean, look
downtown
at
is
this. It's
forced
so cool that it's stuck between like two rivers almost. It's like, almost like an island, this downtown.
onto this point,
Beautiful.
makes
Stunning.
it very dense. And I think that's what makes
Number
downtown
5.
Pittsburgh
All right.
pretty
All
cool.
right.
Heading up to number 4, possibly another surprise here,
Cleveland.
and that's Cleveland.
Cleveland,
Really?
Cleveland, Ohio State are from Cleveland. I think, don't kill me.
Cleveland, the mistake by the lake, the 4th best downtown in the country.
Mistake
And
by
I've
the
been to
lake.
Cleveland multiple times.
Stop it. Stop it. I love when a city looks like this. This is almost, guys, very European that you have these roads going through the whole downtown. Look. Every single, what are these called? What are they called? I can't remember the word now, but you know what I mean. I love it when it looks like this.
But the first time I had been there post-COVID
Look at the
was
lighting.
last year, and I was really impressed with the downtown. The most well-known part of downtown is the part that's on the immediate lakefront where you have the football and baseball stadiums as well as the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But it's not the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and the stadiums that has me rank Cleveland so high on this list. It's some of the other neighborhoods right downtown. So you have this neighborhood called the Flats. It's been recently gentrified. It was also
Okay.
gentrified back in the 70s, so it's undergone
Flats.
multiple layers of gentrification.
This here,
But
I
where it
guess.
stands right now is kind of a cool, hip neighborhood.
Yeah, it
Again,
looks
some
nice,
local
right?
restaurants, shops, and bars. You also have another
Oh.
entertainment district
My European heart wants to sit here and have a coffee right
on
now.
East 4th Street. It's pedestrian. And then you have Playhouse Square, which is actually the second largest theater district in the U.S. Only Broadway in New York is bigger. And one thing I noticed when I was walking around downtown Cleveland is just how much
love
more
it.
foot traffic there is in that downtown compared to many other ones. So COVID
Uh-huh.
took a big hit on many big cities' downtowns, but Cleveland seemed
Oh,
to
come on, come on. This is what I love. This is what I love. I'm serious. This is what I love.
bounce back
Wow.
better than most because you still see a lot of suits and high heels on the streets where many cities you just don't see the suits and high heels as much as you used to. But kind of like Detroit, if you're thinking that Cleveland's just one big giant cesspool of urban filth, well, you're wrong. Cleveland is actually pretty nice, and the percentage of the city that is good is actually higher than you might think.
look at
I
that.
really like Cleveland a lot, and the downtown is one of the coolest in the country. That's why I have it ranked number 4 on
Wow.
this list.
Wow, wow, wow. All
At
right.
number 3 is Seattle.
Whoa, look at this. Wow. Look at this. I mean, beautiful. So much glass, so much lightning. Wow, starting off
So
strong.
right away, I want to say that of
Seattle.
all the big cities in the country that I've been to, Seattle is the one that I am by far the least familiar with. So all
Okay.
of the stuff I'll be talking about right here in this video is just from research alone and just
Okay.
from surfing around on Google Street View.
It looks
But I've seen
beautiful.
so many cities and so
Looks
many
so
downtowns
nice.
that just from doing that, I can get a really good impression that downtown Seattle is really cool.
Looks so
The first
nice.
thing to think of probably is the public market where you can have somebody toss a fish at you, but whatever. That's all very touristy. And the public market is pretty cool, but it is the many other neighborhoods of downtown that makes downtown Seattle quite nice. It's been about
Oh.
15 years since I've been there,
Oh,
so I'm
wow.
sure things have
It's
changed
look-
quite a bit more in
Might it be the top
Seattle
one so
than
far?
most other cities in that period.
Might
but
be.
There's a part of town called Belltown. It's just northwest of the CBD. It's very vibrant, a lot of nightlife there. Chinatown is just south of the CBD, and from what I understand, there's still a large Asian
Uh-huh.
flair to the neighborhood. It hasn't been
Cool.
completely over gentrified. But there's also a couple of nice pedestrian-only squares, Pioneer Square and Occidental Square. And from looking at older photos, I don't
Just this square. Just this square. Nothing else. Looks very
think
European.
these were pedestrian only 10 years ago. I think these are post-COVID. So kind of like Cincinnati, they did some streets where they closed them down temporarily and then just left them permanently closed to cars after COVID. But if you do go around on Google Street View for Seattle, you'll see just a ton of people on every frame. So it's just a very vibrant downtown. And like I was saying with some other cities just not being recovered as much since COVID, Seattle seems to have really bounced back quite a bit and downtown seems like the place to be in the city.
To me, it looks
So
great.
I do feel kind of weird
Looks
putting
great.
Seattle number 3 on a list, and I haven't been there in so long, but I do trust my instincts and just trust some of the research I've done that Seattle does have a great downtown, but if in fact it is bad and the things I'm talking about are not quite right, let me know.
I mean, for me, we're heading into number 2, but I love the way it looks like from the bird's eye view with all the coloring and everything. So I think it deserves its spot just from my looks. Oh, shit.
Heading up to number 2, it's Boston.
Okay, I know this place, and we've never talked about this place on the channel really. So very interesting. It just looks beautiful. Looks very. Is that a church? I think it is a church. This looks very old school in a sense.
Boston. The unique geography and the history of reclaimed land around the downtown leads the city to have a very compact nature on some of those old streets. The downtown is great for walking. The streets were designed for pedestrians and livestock.
That's what I like.
So it's notoriously terrible for driving, but it's really great on foot.
Every European city. I love this also. It looks like the suburban area is close as
And
well.
I really like the Boston
river.
Common. This is a huge green space right downtown, and most big cities have a large park, large green
there.
space, but it's not normally right in the CBD. And I think this was just a big
Nice.
cattle grazing area back in
Very
the day.
nice.
They left it green space, even though the city built up all the way around it.
Very
We
nice.
have a lot of old colonial buildings, including the oldest part of town around Faneuil Hall, the historic waterfront area, the really cool Back Bay
beautiful.
district. And just like
Beautiful. I love this. I love the way this looks. That it's smaller apartment buildings. It just, to me, it screams like almost working class people. Am I right?
most of the other cool neighborhoods in other downtowns, most of the shops and restaurants in the area are locally owned. Overlooking downtown is the Beacon Hill area. These are really beautiful, upscale, historic homes. This area has always been rich. It was not gentrified, so this is just a cool, historic type neighborhood to have right next to downtown.
Look at that.
And for me, as a traveler, Boston is
Maybe it is a working class
opposite
then.
of Seattle. The first time I went there was just a couple of years ago, and I didn't get to see the city at all through the years. I never got to see Boston
Wow.
in the pre-Big Dig days. I'm sure it was fantastic.
Looks
for
nice.
traffic, but from the time I went there, downtown is
awesome.
great and easily the second best one in the country.
All right, we're moving up to number 1. What do you think it is? I'm just, in my head, I've been waiting for New York. I don't know if that's just an ignorant view, maybe, but I'm just waiting to see if it will show up. Let's see. Number
And
1.
in my opinion, the number 1 big city downtown in the U.S. is
Chicago, Illinois. Whoa, okay. I had no idea. Okay, Chicago. We got some guys from Chicago here. I mean, first glance, stunning, stunning, stunning. The high rises with the lower buildings, still very big buildings. Amazing. All
One
right.
of those downtowns that's
What's
so
this
big you
plot
can
twist?
spend a couple of days walking around and still not see it all. With the city being right there along Lake Michigan, there's a
Wow.
nice lakefront park
Wow.
and trails
The
going
lake there as well. Oh, yeah. Milwaukee was also just close by
up and
here.
down. The lakefront is where you have the Navy Pier, which is the top tourist spot for downtown. But once you get a little bit in from the lakeshore, I think is where downtown gets really great. The Chicago River goes right through the heart of downtown. And walking around here is just really cool. You have all these big skyscrapers.
The drone footage here. Oh my god. I love it. I love it. I also love that some modern buildings as well.
all around you.
A
You
lot of
walk
modern
along the
buildings as
river
well. I
itself
usually
or
don't
the
like
streets
that.
run perpendicular to it, but just the whole walking experience of downtown Chicago was much better than most other downtowns. And you have
Wow.
those iconic L trains. When I was a little kid thinking
L
about
trains.
Chicago, that was always the first thing I would think of for whatever reason, were those L trains going through downtown nice and slow. The heart of the downtown is referred to as the Loop, and this is where you have the
Oh,
tallest
that's a train.
skyscrapers, including
Oh,
the
you have the
Sears Tower.
trains there? You have the trains there? That's so cool. That's so unique. I've never seen that.
But what makes Chicago
Wow.
number 1 for me on this list is I think it's just so livable. I think it's the most desirable neighborhood to live in Chicago. So if I were to live there, that's where I would want to be, is downtown.
Okay.
Many of my other
Wow,
favorite
look at
cities
this
in
building.
the country, I wouldn't want to live right downtown, including Pittsburgh or San Francisco. But Chicago,
Okay.
that's where I'd want to be. So you can have a really nice car-free lifestyle living downtown, kind of like you would in San Francisco or Manhattan. So it's a really great downtown for
Amazing.
living. But man,
Just amazing.
those winters. So there it is. Chicago's my top pick for best downtown in the U.S. But in an M. Night Shyamalan plot twist, Lee Corso, not so fast, my friend. If I were to make this the top 10 downtowns in North America, the top 2 would be Toronto, and Montreal.
Uh-huh.
So I would be remiss to be doing this video
Wow.
without at least mentioning how cool the downtowns of the 2 largest cities in Canada are.
Yeah, it looks
Downtown
beautiful.
Toronto feels a lot like Chicago in terms of its density,
Beautiful.
the high-rise.
But that's not what we're here for. We are ranking the US. So I will prepare now. I think I will do top 5 maybe because I got some towns I like. So please provide me your top 5 and we'll compare. 1 second. Okay, people, what do you have? What do you think? What's your top 5? This is my top 5. Okay. Starting off, we got number 5. And to me, it is nothing else but Detroit. I actually thought it looked really nice, and I like that, you know, it seems to be a city like truly on the rise that's been through some struggles, and I like that to give some kudos to them for sure. So number 5, Detroit. Number 4, we're moving on to Seattle. Seattle looked beautiful. Just from like the bird's eye view, it was probably next to another one that on the list, the most beautiful bird's eye view that we saw. Number 3, we got Nashville. And Nashville, it just seemed like the party, or it just seemed to have like some sort of party vibe to it, that people were happy to go out and party. And I loved that. So number 3, Nashville. Number 2, we got Boston. And Boston is cool because it's looked like almost like a working class town with some like old school influences compared to combined with the modern high-rise buildings. Looked awesome, and especially the rivers going through it. Number 1, to me, it looked amazing. And you probably guessed it, it is Chicago. It looked amazing. Wow, what a city with all the modern buildings. It was super modern, and I don't usually like, you know, super modern, but this was truly amazing. So, wow, what's your top 5? Let me know, and let me know if I had something wrong. Let's deep dive into it together. So, guys, take care as always, and see you soon.